It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and New York, New York, a town so nice they named it twice. And this is CarEdge Live for Election Day, Tuesday, November 4th, with your hosts, me, Ray, here in Ventnor City, and Zach in New York, New York. How are you today, handsome?
Doing fantastic. I think, fingers crossed, my audio should be pretty good today, Pops. Mazda jacked up prices. Now this has happened. We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. Before we do, we need to let everyone know, CarEdge.com. Folks, it is officially buying season. Dealers have too much inventory, customers are getting great deals, and we have a special promotion back on CarEdge.com. For a limited time, we are offering $150 off our car buying service and 15% off CarEdge Pro, the tools we use to get you the best deal. Please, please, please check that out back on the website for a limited time only. $150 off car buying service, 15% off CarEdge Pro. Get a free consultation call with our team to see if it might be a good fit back at CarEdge.com. Now, Dad, the big story this morning is we have the latest numbers on October sales data for the broader auto industry, and we have many automakers who saw their sales decline in the month of October. We're going to really focus on Mazda today because of what's happened to their sales numbers. They've fallen precipitously year over year for the month of October, but other brands are struggling as well. We will talk Toyota tomorrow when Marcello from Toyota World joins us, so save your Toyota questions for tomorrow. Let's jump down to the data, Papashevska. We are looking at a 33%, 32.6% sales decline for Mazda year over year for the month of October. And I've got a few select examples from the CarEdge Car Search that shows potentially why Mazda is struggling. You've got a CX-5, $40,000 MSRP, 549 days supply, 188 days on market. I've got another one here. A CX-50, not the CX-5, $40,000. What are we looking at? 270 days supply, 227 days on market. Dad, Mazda jacked up their prices. Now their sales are down by 33%.
I saw those numbers, and you as you are well aware, I am much older than you, and hell, I am much older than a lot of the people that actually watch this nonsense. And immediately when I saw those numbers, I thought of the Frank Sinatra song, That's Life. Riding high in April, shot down in May. Okay. And that is apparently what we're seeing, because at the beginning of the year, Mazda's sales were up significantly every month. And then suddenly they started going the opposite direction, and not at a slow pace of going in the opposite direction, but like at warp speed. So yeah, it's hey, we were riding high in April, we were shot down in May, and we're hoping that tune's about to change. I don't know that it will. I know personally it's a brand that I like. I mean, hell, I drive one. And I think even at some of their slightly more inflated prices for their premium level vehicles, they still pack a good value for the punch, but they're leaving their customers behind.
Exactly. I think that's the point I really want to hone in on. Whether or not Mazda is a good value or not, you can have your own discretion. We are seeing the ramifications of automakers jack up prices, and then ultimately what happens, they have to discount them significantly. And Dad, let's do a lot of live experiments today. So I'll put an ask for the community. Share some zip codes, share some areas of the country where you want us to look at any particular type of vehicle, but we're going to focus on Mazda for the moment. And you can see here from Igor in the chat, most Mazdas now sell at 10% off of MSRP. That's before the incentives from the automaker. That's especially true for the CX-90 and CX-70 models. Yes. This is what happens. This is the Jeep playbook or the Stellantis playbook. This is where automakers jack up their prices, but then have to ultimately discount them significantly. And the reason I think it's so important to talk about today is because October was the first month this year where we've really seen a big decline for automakers in terms of their performance. The seasonally adjusted sales rate is expected to be anywhere from 15.1 to 15.7 million vehicles. The too long didn't read in all that is that's the lowest number so far this year. And we are seeing a slowdown in auto sales at the exact time when typically there's a frenzy for these dealers and these automakers to juice their volume. We know this is true because Nissan, for example, they were talking about $1,200 in stair-step incentives. So it's an interesting moment in time. And this is what happens when you jack up your prices. You now have to give away great deals, 10% off plus, for example.
If I remember correctly, was it back in August or back in September that Mazda gave you a CX-90 PHEV to drive?
I had a press vehicle, yep.
And it was a $60,000 vehicle. $60,000. You're not supposed to say Mazda and $60,000 in the same sentence. Okay, they have always been known, in my opinion, as a solid value brand that punches above its weight. So what do I mean by that? That typically their prices are a little bit below their competitors, and the level of equipment is a little bit higher than their competitors. But you can't suddenly say we're going to go upscale and then be producing $60,000 vehicles that people don't want to buy. I mean, if I'm spending 60 grand, I mean, honestly, I got to tell you, there's other vehicles I would look at in a 3-row SUV for that price point.
For sure, Pops. But what happens when you do that is you ultimately have to offer deals. Or
Yes.
If you don't offer deals, what happens? Your sales decline by 33% year over year. Dad, let's come here to the chat. We've got a couple different zip codes that we're going to pull up here. And let's look. We're going to focus just on Mazda for the moment. But again, folks, the tool I'm using today is CarEdge Pro. So if you're interested in the data that you're seeing on the screen, go take advantage of the 15% off that we've got. I'm using CarEdge Pro back on the CarEdge car search. Let's come over here, Dad. What's that zip code? Do you mind reading it out to me?
That is 60611. We are in Chicagoland, ladies.
Yep, that's Chicago, Illinois. So now what we're going to look at here, let's start with just here. Why don't we go to a CX-90? 118 days on the market, $57,000 MSRP. I'm going to open that up in a new tab. We'll jump over there in just a second. We know the CX-90 is quite expensive, but how about this? Let's look at maybe a CX-70 here. So I'll open that up in a new tab. And then why don't we look at a CX-5 as well?
Yes.
All right, so we'll start with the CX-5. $44,385 MSRP on a brand new Mazda CX-5. The invoice price to the dealer is only $43,275. It's not like there's a huge amount of markup here, even for the dealership. Let's scroll down, Dad. What I'm interested in, holy cow, we do this live. There is no, premeditation to any of this. 1,590 days supply, only 3. And again, this is a 2025. This is not even the new 2026. Only 3 of the 2025 Mazda CX-5 turbo signatures have sold in the last 45 days within 100 miles of Chicago. Yet those same dealers that sold those 3 have 106 of the same year, make, model, and trim available for sale. We talk about this all the time on this show, Dad. What does that do to a sales manager's perspective when a customer comes in? Let's coach up our community here for a second. Let's coach up FJ in Chicago. What amount of leverage does FJ have in that negotiation at this particular dealership for this particular car?
He's probably got all the leverage in the world because he can print this off and he can share with them that, just between you and I'm well aware that in your market area where your dealership is located and where I am located and would consider buying a car, that there's almost a 1,600-day supply, 4.5-year supply of the turbo signature titanium, whatever the hell it was, platinum juicy special CX-5. So it's like you can use that to your advantage because they know it is like when I was at the Acura store in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we had the SLX, which was the rebadged Isuzu Trooper, and we couldn't sell an SLX to save our lives. And literally, I remember a customer came in. We had one come in. It was there for a couple of days. Customer came in and he said to the area vice president, "I'll give you X for that right now." Well, X was a $5,500 loser. And the area vice president looked at him and said, "You just bought yourself an SLX." Okay, now why did we do that? Because we knew that if we didn't sell it to him, we'd be sitting on it like this. These dealers are sitting on those particular CX5s. And the cost of carrying that vehicle for the amount of time it would take before you sell it is well worth losing $5,500 to get that damn thing off your lot so you can invest your money in something you can turn more quickly. So they went too upscale on that particular CX5. There isn't a market for it. You're in the second or third largest city in America, and there isn't a market for it. How are you going to get rid of it? If somebody comes in and says, "Okay, I'm interested, I'll do you a favor, I'll take it off your hands," you will do what my area vice president did, which is you'll drop your drawers and you'll just keep lowering the price until the customer says, "Okay, we're good."
Let's look at a few more examples, Dad, that we had pulled up. So again, this was for the Mazda CX-5 Turbo Signature, a 2025 one. The other vehicles we had pulled up, the CX-90, again, 2025 premium sport trim, $57,000, almost $58,000 MSRP. This is an expensive upmarket vehicle. When you scroll down here, this is alarming. In the last 45 days, within 100 miles of this one, sorry, I've got people talking here at the WeWork. In the last 45 days, Dad, within 100 miles of this one, none have sold. Yet dealers, those same dealers, have 18 for sale. There is no days supply because none have sold. You look over, Dad, at the CX-70, which is the other big, initiative at Mazda. This is now a 2026, 43, call it $44,000 MSRP. We're in the same boat here. Dealers haven't sold one of that specific year, make, model, and trim in the last 45 days, yet 22 are for sale. So then it makes you wonder, what's the incentive on this? So you scroll down to the bottom here, 1.9% financing for 36 months, or a subvented lease program that's effectively at 2.83% financing for 36 months. It's not moving the needle. You go back to the CX-90 earlier this year, Dad. The CX-90 had a $10,000 lease cash incentive. What does it have right now? 1.9% financing for 36 months, 0.38% is the effective money factor over on the lease. It's not good enough. It's not good enough, which continues to reinforce to me how much of a buyer's market this is. You have so much freaking leverage if you call up a Mazda dealership right now and you reference this information. We are seeing deals out the wazoo. Dad, just on the last day of last month, over 30 car deals got done by our concierge service team, because there's just so much pressure in this fourth quarter and with these market dynamics, and the data just paints a really compelling picture.
And when you look at those numbers and there's no day supply because they haven't sold one yet, that is like a pitcher in baseball who, I don't know, gives up 3 runs in an inning and never gets an out, and his ERA is infinity. Okay, that's basically what you're looking at. So maybe, just maybe, some of those vehicles will be sent down to the miners. I don't know. Maybe, just maybe, some of the good folks in upper management at Mazda will look at it and they will say, we need to go back to our roots. We need to go back to the lower priced, lesser expensive vehicles that have always been our volume vehicles, as opposed to trying to go so far up market so quickly that we are A, leaving our customers behind, and B, not attracting new customers who see the value in these things.
Now, we're harping on Mazda right now because their sales are down 33% year over year, but this is an industry-wide challenge that's being faced with the average transaction price for new cars over $50,000. You want to do one more zip code, Dad, and then we can switch gears?
I'm good. 38139. Yeah.
Give me a second here. Wait a second.
I believe that might be one of my favorite zip codes ever, 38139. I have no idea where it is, ladies.
Okay, so now we're in Germantown, Tennessee, okay? We're
Okay.
the same exact thing we just did a second ago. All right, here we go. We've got a 2025 CX90, a 2026 CX90. So I'll click on both of those. I'll get that loaded up over on the other tab. We've got more CX90s, more CX90s. I want to find some CX5s or CX70s. Wow, these are expensive CX90s. Let's go to the next page here. Okay, so we've got some CX70s. We'll click on this one, and then we'll do this CX5. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, let's start with that CX5. So we are in Tennessee right now, doing the same live experiment. 2025 CX5 Turbo Signature, $43,000 MSRP. Drum roll, please. None have sold, only 2 for sale. So there's not a ton for sale. This is within 100 miles, but still, this one's been sitting for 205 days. So not off to a good start if you're a Mazda dealer, but a good sign if you're a Mazda customer. 2026 CX70 Premium Package, $57,660 MSRP. Let's scroll on down here. 1 for sale, none have sold. Again, we're within 100 miles, 27 days. Kind of makes sense. It's the new 26.
Sure.
Let's look at another 26, this time the CX90, $52,000 MSRP. 1 for sale. Wow. Here in Tennessee, we don't have a lot of vehicles for sale. Let's come back over here. Let's do a 25 CX90, 2 for sale. Okay, so we've just got a part of the country here where there's just not a lot of inventory. But
well, I think what that says is that Mazda does not think of that particular area, and I believe that's the Memphis area, as a strong Mazda sales area.
Germantown, Tennessee
don't have a lot of cars. Maybe if you could find a base level CX5, maybe we'll actually see some volume as far as vehicles on hand. But that's
there's only 184 new Mazdas for sale within 50 miles of this one. There's just not a lot of inventory.
It's not a big market. Apparently, the Memphis area is not a big market for Mazda.
So let's do one more, because you can see right here, I just zoomed out 50 miles, 184 matches. Let's do one more. We've got from JC. Give me a second, Dad. Whoops. Let me pull that back up. Do you mind reading this out to me?
07071.
Okay. We're in Lyndhurst, New Jersey. There we go. Look at that number, guys. 8,921. Wait for a second here. We just went from one zip code to another zip code, and we increased the amount of vehicles for sale by like 100x. That is crazy.
You went from the Memphis, Tennessee area to your realistically North Jersey, New York metro area.
All right, so here we go. We've got a CX90. We're going to take a peek at that one in just a moment. We got another CX90. Let's see here. Let's find a CX70. I'll go to the second page. I love doing these live experiments. Okay, here's a CX5. We'll do a carbon edition. That's a very popular trim. Let's find one CX out here. Let's just do this CX70. Use the doggone filters. That's what they're there for. Why don't I?
That's I understand why we put them there.
We did, to make it a little easier.
I'm not. But
we'll look at this one. Let's start with the CX70, Dad.
Okay.
$55,320 MSRP. Drum roll, please. 20 for sale. None have sold in the last 45 days. Now, this is the brand new 26.
Yes.
Let's try a 25 CX90. $60,000 MSRP. Drum roll, please. 19 have sold in the last 45 days. 31 for sale. 73 days supply. That's better.
That's much better. That is an acceptable day supply for a $60,000 vehicle. And that gives you a better understanding as to how regionalized sales can be. When you're talking North Jersey and the New York metro area, apparently it's not that difficult to find people who are willing to spend that kind of money for a 3-row SUV.
Yeah.
I would spend it on something different, but that's just me.
For sure. Take that aside for the moment. Okay, final one here, and then we'll move on. 2025 Mazda CX-5 S Carbon Edition. Now, this is kind of closer to Mazda's sweet spot, $35,000 MSRP. Wow, look at this. $122,000 have sold in the last 45 days. Yet those same dealers have almost 1,000, 953 for sale right now, giving you a 352-day market supply. This is damning for Mazda.
Well, I don't think their Carbon Edition is their in the CX-5 is the most popular version of that vehicle. But even having said that, everybody knows that there's a completely new redesigned 2026 coming out, and that could be having an impact on current sales of the current 2025s, because the improvements in the 2026 aesthetically are dramatically different. It is our dear friend David Chow actually did a walk around of the new CX-5 when he was in Japan at the mobility show, and it is a significantly improved vehicle from what it had been. So maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
All right, let's switch gears. Let's talk about Audi. Now, Audi has some of the slowest selling vehicles in the United States right now.
Yes.
But when you can jack up the prices even more and make more expensive vehicles, maybe you just double down on it. Dad, Audi has a new SUV coming to market in set for a debut here soon, the Q9.
Yes.
What's your take on this, Pops?
Well, if you can't sell big, build bigger. I don't know. I mean, their sales, they're struggling sales wise, and I know that the Q7 is their bigger or 3-row SUV. And like most 3-row SUVs, the third row normally doesn't have a tremendous amount of legroom, and to say, well, we need to build it bigger to increase that legroom, and my
And
guess,
to increase that price, Dad.
and to increase, because my guess is going to be that the CX, not the C, the Q9 will, if you look at a Q7, they're probably priced from the mid 50s into the upper 70s. So where's a bigger one going to be priced? It's going to be priced higher. It's going to be priced from what, the 60s to the 90s? I mean, nobody's clamoring to buy an Audi as it is. So I'm just not sure that the rationale is, well, when sales are down, let's build bigger. It just doesn't seem to make sense to me.
Let's take a peek, Dad. So you said Q7s.
Yes.
I mean, $83,880, $77,695. And again, we're still in that northern New Jersey area. Yeah. I mean, I'm not seeing any. I mean, 70 is the lowest. We've got 68.
Okay, so then what's a Q9 going to be? If the Q7 is smaller and going to be priced below a Q9, then the Q9's got to be from the 70s to the 100s.
Interesting, though. The Prestige, Dad, it's selling. 20 have sold in the last 45 days, 18 for sale right now. I mean, that's good news if you're an Audi dealer for the Prestige, which is the highest trim level.
Yes.
Premium Plus here. Let's take a quick peek at that. Yeah, there we go. That's more like what I was expecting to see. This is the new 2026. 14 have sold in the last 45 days, 238 for sale. So yeah, to your point, they're just going to have, I mean, it's probably going to be, keep me honest here, but probably up to a 6-figure price point. I bet you the Q9
it's got to be.
Yeah.
No, I would think it's got to be. If the Q7 is running into the mid 80s, I would imagine a Q9 will be priced from the 70s to the low hundreds, and that's quite the spread, ladies.
When people aren't buying them big, make them bigger. I mean, it really is a fascinating moment where you're doubling down, where as an automaker, you're doubling down on a strategy that maybe in some ways has worked, but in a lot of ways has just made the market smaller, taken a lot of people out of the market, and ultimately forced you to increase your incentives or force your dealers to take shorter car deals, make less profit per transaction. Dad, let's do a couple more comments here in the chat. We've got, how many days is it from now till the optimal buying moment? You and I have been talking about this a lot because it's the fourth quarter. Yes. We saw it at the end of October. We saw insane car deals. There was one customer, Dad, or excuse me, one dealer that we did 2 car deals with on the final day of October because we had 2 customers looking for similar vehicles. And they were like, hey, to hit our volume incentive, we'll do both these deals. Things are moving and grooving right now in the auto industry in terms of deal making, especially at the end of these months. So how many days till now is the optimal buying moment? I'd say it's today. Like, there's no reason to be waiting around. Car deals are out there.
It's like anything. You have to do your work. And I know in the comments people are going to say, well, I don't know, I don't see prices going down. Well, prices go down when you actually threaten to go home in a car. One of the great sayings in the car business is, well, your presence is your leverage. The threat,
and that's evolving. That's evolving big time. I mean,
yeah,
quite frankly, Dad, the average savings we're getting on the AI negotiator is over $1,600. So,
well, but
you know,
what I was going to say is, I would amend that to, your leverage is your ability and desire to actually complete a transaction. Okay, if it's one thing to threaten to relieve them of a piece of inventory, it's quite the other to not only threaten but wave money at them while you're threatening. So it's nothing excites the dealership personnel quite as much as somebody ready, willing, and able to complete a transaction. So if you're ready, willing, and able, don't just depend on the advertised price you see. Um, don't just depend on the first back and forth. If you're emailing or calling or texting, you need to work it and work at it. It's just the savings is commensurate with the effort put in.
Traditionally, this is why we also offer what we offer. Like the AI will do it for you, the concierge service will do it for you. But yes, it's a lot of work regardless. But again, just to answer the question, if you're in the market for a new or used car, now is definitely the time to start to activate on that car search. We've got from Robin here. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, guys. Using what I've learned from you, I was able to make a deal on a Nissan Pathfinder. Got an extra $2,000 off, making it $10,000 below MSRP, and got an extra $1,000 on my trade. Love hearing that. That is fantastic.
Yep.
Dan wants to know, do the target discounts on the website change due to specific locations? Yes, they do. They are geographic specific. And we've got here, Dad, from Katie, who we shared her zip code earlier. Thanks, guys, for looking at my zip. It tells me I need to look elsewhere for my car. We are in an inventory desert here, which kind of hits on this comment as well. When calling around to find the best price, are we telling the dealership we live out of town, out of state? We've got a guide back on CarEdge.com that talks about buying a car out of state. But someone like Katie, Dad, or in this case, Sten Tools, like, it's totally fine to look outside your market area to get a better deal.
Sometimes you might be able to find what it is that you want somewhere else, and it's been sitting on that dealer's lot for a while, and they will be extremely motivated to move it, and thankful that there's a customer, even though the customer might be out of state, thankful that there's a customer that's willing to take it, and so they'll be more willing to make a deal with you. To say that you're only going to shop in your direct market area, that means you're limiting the possibilities. The world's a pretty small place today. The United States is a pretty small place today. There are some areas of the country that are hit harder than other areas of the country when it comes to inventory levels and desires to make deals. And so you have to be prepared and willing to broaden your area of search.
We see this all the freaking time, all the time with our business. Customers finding much better deals a couple 100 miles away. We figure out logistics for them, etc. It's very, very common. Hey, Dad, I want to come up one more comment here from JC. Thanks for looking in my area. Interesting to see the difference in locations. Absolutely. And this, by the way, yesterday I had a free consultation with Tony on the team. She was very helpful. I will be signing up for your concierge service. Love hearing that. Thank you, Tony, for helping our community here with JC. And in general, folks, this is what we do, especially this time of year when we are super busy helping thousands of people every single month. Now, Pops, let's call it a show for today. If we can
Yes.
assist you in any way, shape, or form, check out the website CarEdge.com. Car sites show you fake prices. We'll get you the real one. Again, we have a promotion running ongoing for a limited time, $150 off our car buying service and 15% off CarEdge Pro, the tools we use, our concierge team uses to help get you the best deal. We can put them in your hands as well. We're back tomorrow. I'm back in DC. Then my dad and I will be side by side on Thursday. We do have a guest tomorrow, Marcello from Toyota World, so we'll be talking Toyota. And then we're side by side Thursday and Friday, which I'm really looking forward to, Pops.
I am as well. I have a train to catch tomorrow in Philadelphia that leaves at 2:14 and gets into DC at 4:04. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to hanging out with you and Dara and Herzak and Sadie and just doing some good stuff.
Doing some good stuff. We're back tomorrow, folks. I love you, Dad.
Love you too, handsome. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We'll see you tomorrow.